Ladies and gentlemen, a new endeavor is upon us. The first episode of a brand new podcast. Welcome to the show, hosted by Cole Thompson and Nick Scheifel. Nick, how are you doing today? Episode one. I know we're a week late than what we planned. Life gets in the way
Little
sometimes.
late, little late, little late.
We couldn't deliver. We're unable to record at any point last week. Just some stuff popping in the way with school and life and stuff. But we're here now. First episode of Welcome to the Show. Nick, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's a beautiful Friday. It's a little cloudy, but it's all right.
But yeah, nonetheless, let's just get right into it, Nick. Let's not waste any time. We have a lot of things
Let's
we
get
want
it.
to
Let's
talk
talk.
about. Basically, with this podcast, our goal, we're going to cover the whole entire world of sports. Each week, we're going to focus on some sports will get more attention. Obviously closer to baseball, we're going to talk more about baseball. We're going to touch on the NFL a little bit today just because the NFL is the most popular sport. And the plan was to talk about the Super Bowl and the NFL season last week. But we're going to talk a lot about the NBA, college basketball. And, if you know me, we'll have the UFC mentioned from time to time. We'll only do the big cards just because I know most people aren't UFC psychopaths like me and know every single little card and every single little fighter, small time fighter that there is in the organization. But Nick, let's start off talking about the NFL season. So obviously the season just wrapped up 2 weeks ago. The Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions for the third time in 5 years. I mean,
Uh,
they're unstoppable. What was your overall synopsis and overall thoughts on the NFL season?
so the NFL season kind of got me really surprised. My big high headline was, is it going to be Bryce Young or CJ Stroud who's going to really make a difference? And Bryce Young, like, dude, he had it, but I really think that it all comes down to coaching, and the coaching this year was great. And I think it also showed that a lot of teams need new coaches. And that's when towards the end of the season you saw that. And I'm really excited to see how this season goes because the whole league is different this year, I think.
Yeah, and that Bryce Young, CJ Stroud thing kind of got put to bed early in the season. CJ Stroud was phenomenal all
So
year.
good.
He was
So
a
good.
top five quarterback this season. And Bryce Young had some first year struggles. Obviously, it didn't help that he had two different coaches. I feel like they
Yeah.
kind of pulled the plug on Frank Reich way too early.
I agree. I think they
I'm a
should have
big
kind of
Frank Reich
let it
guy.
roll a little
Fun fact, actually, me and Frank Reich are alumni of the same high school. We went
bit.
to
Really?
yeah.
Super
So
cool.
and won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. But yeah, I've always been a big Frank Reich guy, and I feel like they pulled the plug on him a little too early. He didn't really get a lot to work with. I mean, they traded away their best weapon to get Bryce Young.
Yeah.
They've mortgaged their future for Bryce Young, and things are not looking up in Carolina right now. They are
I
looking.
I I disagree actually. I think Canales is going to be a great addition, and I think he's going to be a confident head in a team in a locker room that has no confidence.
That's fair, but they do have some defensive pieces with Jeremy Chin and Burns.
They do. I don't know. Do you think they're going to keep Burns? That's the
That's the big
problem.
that's the big question with the
That's
Panthers.
the problem, bro.
Are they going to get rid of guys like Brian Burns? Are they going to get rid of guys like Jeremy Chin? I mean, they've been circling names like that about getting traded for a couple seasons now. So do they finally make that move in the offseason? I don't think it would be a bad move. You get some of that future back that you gave to the Bears. Um, but
Speaking of the Bears, we have to talk about the Bears next.
yes, yes. But
Yes, we do.
to end that first point, basically, CJ Stroud was phenomenal this season. D'Amico Ryans was phenomenal this season. And it was the
Yes,
exact opposite in Carolina. But you want to
it
talk
was
about the
the exact.
Bears? What do you
I
think the
do
Bears
want to talk about the
Do you
Bears.
think they trade that pick and give Justin Fields another go at it, or do you think they go and get Caleb Williams?
I think they're going to draft Caleb, and I think they're going to trade Justin Fields, and I think it's going to be a huge package, though. I think Justin Fields is actually one of the most athletically talented quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's a little immature when he's going about his progressions, but I think he's one of the most talented
What
quarterbacks
would
in the
you do?
NFL.
What would you do?
What
I know
would
you.
I do? I'd keep him.
I
I'd
I
let him
agree.
rock.
I agree.
I'd let him rock.
I think they will too. I think the Bears are so close to success with what they have that starting over with a quarterback might be too risky. The Bears had a pretty solid season from where they were a year ago.
They had a very shaky season, but there was a lot of upside to it,
Yeah,
and there's
and
more upside than downside.
and Fields was hurt a little bit, but I think Justin Fields has a chance to be a very good quarterback. I'm big on Justin Fields. I really do like the way the Bears are going and the way their
I do
future.
too.
Ryan Poles is doing amazing things in that front office. So I would roll with Justin Fields actually. And I think they will. I think the Bears, there's so many other things the Bears can fix. And I know it's a big quarterback class, but They have 2 first-round picks. I think you can you can
They
utilize.
got number 1 and 9, right?
Yeah. The
Yes,
Bears can fill more. I would trade the first overall pick first off, and you can fill
I would
tons
do.
of holes with that with trading the first overall pick again. I listen, there's always going to be another quarterback. There's always going to be the next man up. I know Caleb Williams is supposed to be this generational talent, but we saw it with Trevor Lawrence, good quarterback. We saw it with a guy like Deshaun Watson. I know he had some other issues that derailed him, but good quarterback. Who the best quarterback was? The guy who was taken at 10 in his draft, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, that
So
is
if I'm
true.
the
That is
Bears,
true.
if I'm the Bears, I'm rolling with Justin Fields for another year. You have the weapons around him. There's still other holes you have to fill. I'm keeping Justin Fields. There's no point getting rid of him. I think he's the guy for him. I think he's the guy.
I believe in him. I don't think the Bears front office is gonna rock with him. I don't think they believe in him like that, and it
Especially
sucks because I think he's a really good player, but I don't think they're gonna believe in him.
especially
I
a
think it's gonna
franchise like
be
especially a franchise like the Bears who continuously have had a quarterback carousel and their
it's
best
been
quarterbacks
like since
ever.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah, their
Like
best
Jay
quarterbacks
Cutler's their
ever are
last
Jay
quarterback.
Cutler, Rex Grossman, and Jim McMahon. Like, that is saying something. That is saying something. Every successful Bears team has been on the back of the defense. Justin Fields might be the most talented quarterback to ever wear a Chicago Bears jersey.
I agree. I agree. That's why I'm saying I think they need to keep him, but they won't. I don't think they will. They haven't done anything smart in how many years?
So we talked a little bit about him. Where do you see there's a debate that's now started that I think that should have been started a couple of years ago, and I'm pretty confident on one side about Pat Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Who do you think's the GOAT right now? And do you think that Mahomes has a chance of passing Brady?
The go right now is Brady because Mahomes can't beat Brady. But do I think Mahomes will pass Brady? Yes. I think Mahomes and Andy Reid are very much alike with Belichick and Brady. And I think it's really just about the chemistry those two have. And as long as they're together, they're going to be making history. But I think that Brady has a legacy unlike Mahomes because Brady is just Tom Brady. And I think Patrick Mahomes is getting there. It's almost like LeBron and Jordan. But I do think Mahomes is going to get there. I think he's going to be number 2 for a while, though. Number 2 for a while.
Okay, that's fair. I think Mahomes is the GOAT now. I think what we saw
Really?
Patrick Mahomes do, just
Yeah.
because I don't think there's a debate on who's more talented. I think it's pretty clear Pat Mahomes is the more talented quarterback.
Yeah, he can scramble, he can throw at different angles, he can
Yeah,
read a defense in 3 seconds. It's just
he moves better than Brady. The plays Pat Mahomes made in that Super Bowl against the 49ers, the plays Pat Mahomes has made the last 2 years in the Super Bowl, and as you can see,
yeah,
I
he's
suffered
so good.
one of them. Suffered when Pat Mahomes was played a perfect half of
I
football.
enjoyed it as a Giants fan. I enjoyed it.
Yes, I figured you did, but I just think that I can understand if you say he's not the GOAT yet.
Not
But
yet.
I don't think that it's going to be much longer until he clearly is the GOAT.
If he wins another ring in the next 2 years, he's 100% the GOAT in my eyes.
So how many rings does he have to get to? How many rings and MVPs do you say
5.
he has to get to? Five
5.
rings?
Yeah, you gotta have a ring for all fingers on your hand if you
Five
want to
rings.
be
How
a
many
GOAT.
MVPs?
It depends. I feel like MVP, in my eyes, MVP doesn't matter if you're the GOAT because I feel like if you look at someone like Rodgers, he is an amazing quarterback who wins all the MVPs, but he doesn't do anything with his team. So I think MVPs, it doesn't really matter as long as he's helping his team win.
Okay, that's fair. I get what you mean because Rodgers is probably more talented than Brady, if just like raw talent.
Yeah,
But he's not greater than Brady. He's not. I wouldn't say he's better than Brady just
he
because
doesn't he doesn't evolve. He doesn't make his team better. His
yeah,
team makes
that's
him
the
better.
thing about Brady is he makes his team better, and that's what Mahomes does.
Yeah,
Mahomes is the only player that I think we've seen that has made his team better, like at Tom Brady's level.
I
Mahomes
agree.
is
I think it's really good.
Mahomes has done what LeBron did with the Heat, where he has cracked himself into the point where he has put himself on another level than any other player to ever play the game.
Oh, definitely. He's put
So
himself on a level that every other quarterback in the NFL right now wants to play at his level, but they won't be. It's different. The way he thinks about the game is different, and it's really fun to watch, and it's kind of exciting to see him just continue to get better. Like his team isn't getting better, yeah, he's getting better, and it's kind of insane. The fact that they pulled that Super Bowl off against a loaded Niners team, and they had the Chiefs were down their offensive line and Joe Thuney,
Yep.
and they like everyone saw that Mahomes had no time. The whole first half he was like, I can't, like he no answers, and then
It's just
halftime he figured it out. He started using his legs, and that's when you realize, dude, Mahomes is that guy. He makes adjustments when other players fail to make adjustments.
there's something about Mahomes in the second half of these Super Bowls. It's three out of the
He's so
only,
good.
and he played great in the second half against the Bucks of the year they lost. It's just his team just could not make any plays around him. And
But think
Mahomes,
about his receivers. He like Kelsey getting all mad. Like he doesn't even have composed receivers right now. I mean, Kelsey getting mad, in my opinion, was pathetic. I feel like you're the best tight end in the league, and you're not going to just keep your composure and maybe get open. Like play harder. Like don't get mad at your coach. I think that's horrible, and I think that Mahomes has to deal with that. Like, and then the whole Taylor Swift thing. I think that whole thing, that's all like distractions, and I think that the fact that they still won it all and Mahomes still did what he did with all those distractions. His father getting arrested the day before, whatever.
yeah,
All
but
these distractions, he still did it.
every great team, every dynasty team is going to have the distractions because of how great they are. Brady had all the deflate gate and a million other things. He had his tight ends
That's
committing
true.
double
That
homicide.
is, that is true.
Like,
Aaron
I mean,
Hernandez, I forgot.
his team was not without distractions. They had plenty of distractions themselves. Yeah, I'm just for me, it's going to be what Brady does in this, or what Mahomes does in that. This was right around the time where Brady went on that like 9-year gap of not winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
When he obviously the two he lost to Eli Manning and the Giants and
Big blue, baby. Big blue.
stuff and like that, but then after that, at some point, he turned it back on. I mean, and had a second Hall of Fame career at the end
Yeah.
when
He revitalized it.
he beat the
Crazy.
Seahawks and beat the Falcons and lost to the Eagles and
Yeah.
beat the Rams and then went back to the Bucks
Dude,
and won the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
I kind of want to go back and just rewind life and just rewatch Brady. I love watching Brady. I loved watching Brady when I was young, and I've grown up. Like he's just so good to watch. Just like watching Braun. It's just I love watching it.
Speaking of Braun, let's turn over to the NBA. So right now, when you look at the NBA right now,
the NBA is a very big question mark in my opinion.
yeah, where do you see
standings?
Where do you see? We'll start off with the MVP. Who's the MVP of the league for you right now in the NBA?
Don't get mad to all the viewers here. Steph Curry. Steph Curry is having a crazy year, and he has nobody. Now, I've been a big Shea fan, right? I'm super high on Shea. I think Shea is the best player in the NBA right now, playing-wise, in the way he's carrying his team, and the fact that his team is so young and they're still winning all these games. But I think Steph Curry is the MVP of the league right now, and I think he's being faded because of his team and how bad they are. But they are making some pretty big strides right now. I really like Steph Curry as MVP. I think he's a little dark horse right now. What about you?
The MVP was clear as can be, and then he got hurt. It was Joel Embiid, and then he got hurt. What Joel Embiid was doing was phenomenal, and then he went down with the injury. So right now, you got to go. I mean, it's Shea or Jokic. I feel like it's Shea or Jokic right now. Shea has the best is the best player on maybe the best team in the league in the Thunder. I know maybe not record wise, and Jokic continues to be the clear best player in the NBA.
Well, currently, as of week 17, Jokic is number 1 and Shea is number 2.
Yeah, so, I think it's going to be one of those two guys. I think Embiid's injury, he's going to miss too much time unless he goes on a crazy stretch when he comes back to where
I don't think he's going to make it because I think he's got like 2 games left that he can miss, and then
oh yeah, you know what? You're right. He can't even win MVP because of the. Yep, you're right. No, you're right. I forgot about that. Stupid 65 game minimum rule.
I don't think it's stupid. I think, dude, if you want to be an MVP, you have to be on the court. You have to be a valuable player who plays. You're not valuable if you don't play every game.
But you're gonna tell me Joel Embiid doesn't deserve to be on an All NBA team this year?
I think Joel Embiid's really good, but I think he's injury prone. I think as long as you want to be good, you have to be good and you have to be healthy and you have to be able to take care of yourself. And I feel like he just continues to get hurt. Like he continues to get hurt.
I just don't see how somebody who plays at the level that he is going to miss an All NBA, not even get All NBA third team because of an injury. That is just. I get the point. The thing is, the point with that rule was to prevent players from sitting out for no reason, and The first big example of a player missing out is going to be Joel Embiid because of an injury.
Do you think they're going to change the rule, or do you think they're going to keep it or tweak it?
I think they're going to tweak it, but I don't know how. I don't know how you can tweak it, like, and say I think there should be an extended time. Like, if you miss an extended period of time due to an injury, you should still be eligible. I mean, like, multiple games in a row. I'm talking like if you miss 4 or 5 games in a row, and you hit, and then you end up playing 60 games in a season. I think they should lower it a bit. I think they should lower it to like 60, 55 games. Because at that point, it's like you're missing about half the season, then maybe not. But
I like that. I like that. I think that's a good way to look at it. I don't know. I'm as someone who's from New Jersey, and I come to PA for school, and I have all these Sixers fans around me, and all I have to hear about is Joel Embiid. I do like Embiid. I think he's a good player, but I just, in my opinion, if you want to be an MVP, if you want to be someone who's considered like that, it doesn't matter how good you're going to play. You have to play. You have to play the games that help your team win. Sixers might not even make the play, like might not even get far in the playoffs again because of no Embiid. They're falling down the ladder right now, and I think that is he the most valuable player for that team? Yes, but is he the most valuable player of the league? No, just because he's not playing. You can't be the most valuable player of the league if you're not playing.
I get your point. Right now, if you had to say who the finals matchup would be, who are you saying?
My finals matchup is gonna be I want to say the Cavs, but I don't think they're ready. So I'm going to say the Celtics and probably the Clippers.
Okay.
Probably the Clippers. This is their year, man. They're all healthy right now. They have the big three, and it's their year. Now, I do want to say the Thunder only because I feel like they're going to have a little magic in the
But
playoffs.
I think they're in the same boat as the Cavs. I don't think they're ready yet.
Yeah,
There's not enough
yet.
playoff experience on that team.
Exactly. But I think they might have a little magic.
I could see it. I could see it. I'm gonna say I want to say the Timberwolves. I just don't know. Just don't think they have. They're gonna have.
They don't have that shooter.
Yes,
they take over the game.
Yes, I feel like they lack a little guard play. I'm gonna say the Celtics out of the East. I think they're the clear front runners. I was gonna say the Bucks until they hired Doc Rivers. That was moronic.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of Griffin. I mean, they were dealing great. Their defense sucked. Yeah, but you also have Dame at point guard. I mean, you're not gonna have good defense.
I think I'm gonna go with the Celtics versus the Nuggets.
Celtics Nuggets.
I still think when you have Nikola Jokic on the floor,
yeah,
he's the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world.
Yeah, he's really good.
I especially with Jamal Murray. I know he's not necessarily having the season.
The only problem with the Nuggets is that they're not playing good away this year. They're 500 away.
Yes,
so
but playoffs is different, man. The playoffs are different, and I'm going to take a team with championship DNA. Who
that is. Yeah, I would say it's either going to be the Clippers or the Nuggets. Maybe the Mavs, just because Luka.
But that's what all they have. The Mavs are too thin. They're way too thin.
Yeah. Well, that's also with the Timberwolves. I don't think they have a good bench.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Nuggets. I'm gonna say the Nuggets and the Celtics are gonna be the NBA Finals. And honestly, I'm gonna say the Nuggets win it again, man. I think the Nuggets win it again. I do. I think
this is the Celtics' year. I think that if they don't do it this year, they're going to make some crazy changes.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. They have to. If they don't do it this year, they have to. What else can they do?
They keep taking control, and then I think this is the year. If they don't do it this year, then it's not. Now, what about the Knicks?
No.
Where would the Knicks going to do?
The Knicks, I think,
going to go this year. I think the
Knicks better be praying to God that they don't face a healthy Sixers team in the playoffs.
A healthy Sixers team in the playoffs, yeah. But I think the Knicks are really good. I think Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby, I think those two guys are just so good.
If the Sixers get healthy and you throw Joel Embiid in the mix with that lineup, I mean, like, you got to realize the Sixers with Joel Embiid before they got Buddy Hield,
very good.
Before they got Cam Payne, who's playing well, before they got Kyle Lowry, and I know he just got hurt right away, but I still have some high hopes for him. They were the number two.
He'll be good come playoffs. I mean,
they were the number 2 seed in the East pretty clearly. Like, and then they fell from grace after that. They fell from grace after they lost Embiid. They've lost 7 of their last 10. I mean, they've been on a
Do you
slide.
think Embiid's going to stay healthy in the playoffs this year if he even
I
comes
think so.
back?
I think the Sixers are primed for a second round exit again.
Yep.
I think the Sixers are primed to lose in the second round of the Boston Celtics this year. I think that's what's
I
going to
think the
happen.
Sixers need. I think the Sixers need somebody who's going to stop that, and I think Embiid is just not healthy enough to do it. Playoffs, regular season doesn't matter. He's just not healthy enough.
They're gonna lose in the second round to the Celtics, and it's gonna be the same old misery. It's probably gonna go to Game 7 too, because that's what they always do. It's gonna go to
If it goes to Game 7, I'm going to feel super bad for all you Sixers fans out there.
bro. I'm numb to it at this point. Like it's an endless. It's like endless pain and misery.
I remember last year you guys were talking about trading Embiid, and I was like,
That was
"You guys are crazy."
yeah. Well, they were idiots. Anyone who mentioned
You guys are crazy.
I mean, if you look at Philly sports in general is just pain and suffering, getting so close. Eagles losing in the Super Bowl, starting off this year with the best record in the league, looking like prime contenders to win.
And then they crumbled.
Fall off the cliff.
Oh,
The
man.
Sixers
I
constantly
love
get to
watching
the
it.
second round, play super competitive, and then just drop off in the end. Who else is there? Who else? The Phillies go to the World Series. Then they go up 3-2 heading home
The
against the
Phils.
Diamondbacks and fall off a cliff. I mean, look at the Water Dogs, for God's sake. The new Philly sports team. Last year, lose the PLL championship. Come back in the championship series in sixes, lose in the championship in overtime. It's just nonstop. The Flyers, I'm sure
Man.
they're going to pull something out of their hat this year, and they're going to go on a run just to lose.
At least you guys are there, though. You guys are there. You guys are getting right there in all the sports. I think that's like kind of crazy how consistently successful
Philly
Philly
sports
sports
are. Yes, I know.
have been.
There's usually never more. Like usually, there's always a good Philly sports team, and it's just constant pain. Like it's you.
Listen, at least you're not a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm just gonna put that out there. At least you're not a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Would you rather have no expectations for your team, or would you rather have these expectations just to get your heart ripped out constantly?
No expectations. I have lived a very calm and relaxed life as a Nets fan. I mean, you don't really have to be a fan to like them. I mean, just go to Barclays and say you're a fan. But no, I think the Sixers, being around my friends, also Sixers fans, it is so painful to be a Sixers fan. It is so painful to cheer for that team because they are good. They have so many good pieces. They have so much potential. And it's the Sixers. It's the Sixers. And they do nothing. And it sucks. It sucks to cheer for them.
The Kawhi shot that was their best chance and they blew it. But
speaking of the Phillies, real quick.
I was gonna say
of the Phillies.
I can't talk basketball anymore. We gotta go to baseball.
I'm so excited.
I'm getting fired up.
All right, listen. I just read an article and Harper wants to stay. Play into his 40s.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dude,
Do you think he's going to be able to do it?
Bryce Harper, nobody fits their city like Bryce Harper fits the Phillies. You're talking about a guy who his entire career was known as the obnoxious jerk off asshole young kid turned into just this hothead.
Harper's been the villain of the MLB since he came into the league.
The most villainous city in sports. And
yes, he does.
Philadelphia Phillies back to life. Bryce Harper, if Bryce Harper wins a World Series, I might get torn apart for this, but I honestly believe it. If Bryce Harper wins a World Series, he may go down as the greatest Philadelphia Philly ever. There will be a statue of him.
Harper is going to go down as probably top 10 player of all time, to be honest.
Dude, the fact the MLB released that list and he wasn't a top 10 player this year.
I saw that, but it's because he can't really. His arm is kind of dead. He's kind of like half a player right now.
But yeah, all right, we gotta buzz through this MLB real quick. So let's talk about the Dodgers a little bit. Do you think the Dodgers are what they're made out to be?
I think the Dodgers are going to be as good as their health. I think their starter, like their rotation, is kind of shaky. I mean, you got Kershaw, who's not going to play until mid-year. You got Yamamoto, who's going to be gross. You have Glass now, who hasn't played over 120 innings yet in his career. You have Paxton, who is Paxton. He's not anything special. And then you have Walker Buehler, who's recovering from injury. And you have Ohtani, who's not pitching this year. So what are you guys going to do this year to fix that pitching? Because you play a team like the Yanks, you play a team in the playoffs like the Phillies, you play these teams, you have to be able to stop them. So I think their offense is going to be really good, but I think it's the pitching. I don't know if they're going to stay healthy.
You're gonna like this a little bit. I think we're prime set up for a Dodgers Yankees World Series.
World Series.
I think the baseball world's gonna explode if that happens.
I am so excited.
The Yankees getting Juan Soto for me. I mean, it just changed everything for him.
It's optimism. It's someone who gets on base and doesn't just hit home runs. It's someone who gets on base and just smacks the ball. It doesn't matter if it's going out or not. And it's also Juan Soto. Come on, in a Yankees jersey, the Soto shuffle first game, it's gonna be Soto. It's. I think the Yankees did a lot of good moves this year. I think Rodon is gonna be healthy, and I think he's gonna pitch really good. I hope we don't get Snell because I think Rodon's gonna come back, and I want to re-sign Soto next year.
Where do you think Snell's going?
I think Snell is going to the Angels.
Okay.
Or Seattle.
Okay.
Those are the two teams. I don't think the Padres are going to re-sign.
I don't either. I don't think he's going to go back there. I think the Padres are just going to pack up the ship. Probably trade.
Yeah, the Padres are. Padres are a questionable team right now. Now, do you think? Where do you think Bellinger and Chapman are going?
I think Bellinger is going to end up back with the Cubs.
Really? I don't think so.
What Chapman are you talking about?
Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman? I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know where Matt Chapman's going to go.
Wait, I think Matt Chapman's going to go to the Cubs, and I think Bellinger's going to go to the Blue Jays.
Okay. I think the Cubs got to bring back Belly, man. They got to find a way to bring him back. I mean,
he was their entire offense.
That's their guy. He just is the guy for Chicago.
I hope he goes back just because I was really happy to see him kind of recover. But
get a resurgence.
I'm looking on my computer real quick and I'm reading Kodai Senga got hurt.
Did he really? Oh
yeah.
I did hear that, but I mean, dude, I'm not worried about the Mets.
Oh, I'm not either, but that's big because the Mets might sign Snell now because of it.
That's true.
Right. Or Montgomery. So but yeah, no, I think the Dodgers are going to be really good this year. I think one thing I'm really looking forward to is seeing Shooter Imanaga, Jung-Ho Lee, and Yamamoto. I think they're going to be really cool to watch. But
yeah, I think the Dodgers are in a great spot this year. I think we're primed for a Dodgers-Yankees World Series.
I'm very excited for it. It's going to be good.
Run out of time a little bit here. There's one more thing we wanted to touch on. We talked about it. We're not going to really get to touch on college basketball, at least on the men's side, but we want to talk about one thing on the women's side.
Yeah,
it is Caitlyn Clark.
Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn
Clark is doing something for women's sports that nobody has ever seen. She is creating a buzz around. She is the biggest star in college basketball on either side.
Caitlyn Clark is almost like the hottest athlete in the world right now. She is so untouchable. Like she just scores. She scores so much, and it's kind of crazy to think. No offense to the women, but
I see
the numbers.
I see people saying she should try to go to the NBA, whatever. No. I don't think Caitlyn Clark could be a superstar in the NBA, but I think to a point she could hold her own.
Dude, imagine Caitlyn Clark going up against Wemby. What are you talking about?
She wouldn't be going down. But nonetheless, regardless of your point on that, what Caitlyn Clark is going to be able to do for the WNBA is something she's going to bring
amazing
a respect that the WNBA has not seen.
I think the WNBA and the NBA being together this year for the All-Star events and doing that 3-point contest, I thought that was awesome. Yeah. And you can see that the WNBA players want that to keep happening up. Yes. What's her name? I can't remember her name.
Sabrina. I forget. I can't.
Sabrina Ionescu.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
She said, "I hope that we can do this more. Like, I'm glad that you guys recognize the WNBA. And I think that'd be awesome if they do it together. I mean, the WNBA, watching women's basketball for me at least is exciting. I think they play really good basketball, and I think Caitlyn Clark is kind of opening a lot of people's eyes to women's sports, especially in college basketball.
That Caitlyn Clark versus LSU and Angel Reese national championship was the most anticipated women's basketball game ever because you had clear villains, not just based off the fact that, and I'm not saying anything against LSU. I like Angel Reese. I like LSU women's basketball. Like I have tons of respect for them. But Caitlyn Clark is like the
Yeah,
hero of women's sports right now, the hero of college
she
basketball.
is.
So when you have somebody going against that and taunting, and like I had no problem with Angel Reese mocking her with the ring or whatever, because at the end of the day, that's what it's
It's
about.
sports. It's competitive. Exactly. Like
It brought a
talk
fire,
it.
and energy, and an excitement to women's basketball, and it was talked about on a scale it never was before.
Yeah.
So tons of
I don't
respect.
know. I'm looking forward to seeing it, though. I'm looking forward to it. And speaking of just college sports, March Madness is coming. It's going to be great. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
we're
I
gonna
love
dial
March
in for March
Madness.
Madness. Don't worry. Right now, real quick,
Oh, yeah.
just say a school who's gonna win the national championship if you had to pick today.
Geez. I'm gonna say Arizona, baby. Arizona Wildcats.
Okay,
I I would
I'm riding
probably
with.
say UConn just for the fun of it. I haven't been following too much yet. I'm gonna follow it like crazy for March Madness though.
I've been following it a little underground this year. Haven't really talked about it as much on Twitter or anything. But if I had to say right now, I'm going with my boys in the baby blue. Let's go Heels, baby. North Carolina's taking it
The
home.
Heels, yeah.
Gotta
I
go
like the Heels.
with Carolina. That Harrison Ingram addition. This team is so well rounded right now, playing amazing basketball. I know they're going
I
a
like
little bit of a
Baycott. I think yeah.
slide. Baycott's an animal. RJ Davis is playing on another level. They've cooled down a little bit over the last few weeks, but come March, this team has the DNA. They still have the core pieces from that national championship team, or that national runner-up team 2 years ago. So I love where Carolina's going right now. We'll talk more about college basketball next week. We're gonna get cut off here by the recording. We'll figure that out so it doesn't happen again in the future. But thank you guys for tuning in to the
Thank
first
you guys for
episode.
listening, and we'll
Yeah,
see you
thank
next
you for
week.
tuning in for the first episode of Welcome to the Show. Nick, I had a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do this again. We'll figure it out so we can have longer episodes. Like I said, this is just, we're trying to figure out, this is a different type of podcast from what I've done in the past. I know, Nick, this is your first podcast you've done. So some growing
Yes, as you
pains.
Phillies fans like to say, trust the process. I
Yeah,
got you guys.
it's a Philly thing. That's what I like to say. But
It is a
nonetheless,
Philly.
thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.